I figured, you know what? Let me pop one live and see if anybody shows up. So that is what we're doing. It's actually, it took me so long to type everything in. I'm about ready to go. So I've been pouring at 1150 because it seems like that's kind of the sweet spot with the temperature. Gets heated up pretty quick. It heats the top up enough because if the top isn't completely heated up, sometimes a little bit will stick to it, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm in the shed. It's probably going to take a minute for people to find this live. Hopefully somebody will show up. Somebody's here. So yeah, about to pour a silver guitar. Figured I would go live real quick. So my watch hours, I'm only about 100 watch hours away from 4,000, so that's pretty cool. Not that I'm ever going to do anything with that, but that was always the dream. Orda, what's up? How you been? Been using the 2 auto furnace. I've been putting it at 1150, and it seems like that's really the best spot for it. I've tried it at 11. I've tried it at 1050, and it just doesn't seem to be hot enough. There's always a little bit that'll stick, and then when you pour it, that little bit that's stuck on the side, because it's always like a little half circle about this long usually, sometimes longer. So you'll pour it, and then that'll stick to it. And then I try to get it out, and then it'll clump out and stick to the top of the sprue. So then you'll have this long piece, and I'll have to bend it down to get it. It just seems weird. So I started doing it at 1150, and that doesn't seem to be happening quite as often. I know when I was using the gas furnace, it was probably over 1150 anyway, because that whole thing stays glowing red for quite a while. So, but you're not supposed to take this over 1150, and I do want to try copper in it, so I'm kind of curious how that's going to work. I'm going to have to buy a new crucible for it, or just switch. I only got a little bit of silver left. I might switch over with this crucible and then buy another one for silver. See what happens. So hopefully the picture is a lot better than the old one. Should sound better than the old ones, the old live streams. But yeah, this is probably about ready. I love how I can just stick my face right over top of it, because you can't even get close when the gas is going. I gotta put a freaking hard hat on with a visor on it so I don't burn my eyeballs off. Singe all the hairs off my eyebrows. I'd look pretty goofy with no eyebrows. But yeah, I think we're getting there. It looks ready now, but I need to give it a couple more minutes because I got the flask is in the oven. Amira, is that how you pronounce that? Amira Bell, hello, how you doing? I'm not great with pronunciation, so hopefully that was right. Got 12 people in here and only 2 likes. Feel free to smash that like button. Double tap the screen. It's free. Just saying. You don't have to, though. It's all good. Dagilin? Dagilin? Man, I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry. I'll call you Merch. I'm about to pour a silver guitar. Brown Sugar, what's going on? Boredom Gaming, what's happening? Yeah, usually Tuesday and Thursday. I quit doing Tuesdays so much, and I was just doing Thursdays. But yeah, it's Wednesday. I got an auction Friday, so I figured I'm about to pour this. I'm getting ready for that auction. I might as well go live and at least let people know. I'll probably make a video either later tonight or tomorrow. I've got 3 pew-pews in this one, so that'll be interesting to see if I get kicked off. I just posted one on the #1 Glock. I just posted that on TikTok, and they took it down. So I'm in the process of fighting that right now. Like, it's an 8th scale, and it's not real. It's silver. I mean, come on. But yeah, they took it down. What are you going to do? Dagilin. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm dyslexic, so I don't read very well anyway. So trying to pronounce words sometimes doesn't always work in my favor. But glad we were right. See, I'm gonna go get this. Well, I have a flask that has sand in it. So what I do is I'll take sometimes plastic, sometimes metal, sometimes wood. It just depends on the piece. But I do 3D print pieces sometimes, and I'll put it in sand, make a copy of it, then I'll pull it out of the sand, and then where the piece was, I pour silver into it to copy the piece. And that's what we're doing now. I have a Gibson guitar. The name of it is kind of escaping me right now, though. Thunderbird? I think it's a Gibson Thunderbird, if I'm not mistaken. I poured this in a prototype once, and so this will be the number one. And any of my pours that I have done, which I can show you after I pour this, will be in my auction on Friday. And I've got some coins, I've got some collector's pieces and some things that I'm pulling out that I haven't ever put up. So I got some new stuff, got new pours. Some of the pours are number ones. I have the praying hands. I did another one of those. That's actually a number 5. But a lot of times what I put up for auction is prototypes and number ones, unless it's something that people really like, and then I keep it going. So still kind of in the learning process. I've only been doing this for 6 months. Sales anyway. I've been pouring for about 3 years. So, but kind of off and on for 3 years, not like steady. So steady, I've probably been doing it for like a year steady, if I take out the months in between where I didn't pour. Seth, what's going on? Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. It's hump day. So yeah, man, this past month went by really fast. I can't believe tomorrow's Halloween. That's tomorrow, right? Yeah. That's crazy to me. I don't know how that happened. It feels like we just had Christmas. It'll be time for the holidays again. But I appreciate you guys being here. Wild Pig Pours. No, I only had 2 of those, and I sold both of them. Well, traded the one and then sold the other one. I have a Bison Bullion pour, a little 1-ounce bar that I got back a couple years back, and then I might even pull out some other pours of people, trying to turn some of this stuff into more shot. It's been tough because like I'm making enough money to kind of pay bills and everything, but like when it comes to getting more shot, it's kind of tough. Seems like something always pops up. I just had to get a new phone. So yeah, this might be the last chance at some of my pours, to be honest. For a while, I'm probably not going to be able to do auctions as often as I have been. It might be more like a quarterly kind of thing, like every 3 months, because I'm probably going to be going back to work here soon. So I've had the time to do it recently, but, you know, I was hoping I would get to a certain point, but it's just slow. It's hard. And especially with silver climbing so much, like a lot of people are kind of scared or waiting for it to come down. To be honest, I don't think it's going to come back down. We'll see after the election, but it really could go either way, I guess. Just depends on what people are thinking. But anyway, Doctor Who, what's up? I appreciate that, Seth. Yeah, I am in my shed, so it's running off the tower instead of my Wi-Fi. So sometimes it might glitch. But I did get I got an iPhone 16 Plus, which is supposed to be the top of the line. So I'm hoping it's a little bit better than, I had an iPhone 7 before I got this one. So it's a big upgrade. But I got a couple Eagles that I poured that are new. I got 2 Pew Pews that are new, and they're pretty small too. They're not even over 1 ounce. And then I did the revolver again. That's what got me banned on YouTube. So I got to be careful about how I talk about it when it's up for auction. I'm probably going to be saying something like, if you want to donate to the channel, you know what I mean? I have to word it a certain way. And I'll also do it at the end of the stream too, just in case. That's what I did last time. when I sold that #1 Glock. But AI doesn't know, right? It just sees a pew pew and it's like, oh, we got to stop this, especially if you're trying to sell it. So it's got to be careful. But anyway, let me go grab this thing. I think we are about ready. Looks pretty melted to me. By the way, what time is it? 4:13. Yeah, we should be good. All right. So what we have here is Duff clay. It's not Petrobond. I've been using Duff clay, which I barely got this thing in. Like, it's pretty bad. I don't know why it's so much harder to push stuff into than Petrobond, but it is for sure. So I had that whole thing in the oven separated, and then I pull it out the oven, put it together, and then I'll take a torch in it a little bit just to make sure everything's heated up good. It just seems to look a little bit better when you got the sand heated up. I don't want to burn it. I just want to make sure it's nice and warm in there. And I use matte gas, but I'm just using propane for this. Doesn't get quite as hot. Like I said, I don't want to burn the sand. But it was in the oven for a pretty good amount of time, so we should be good. Let me get some of my protection on. It's almost 80 degrees today, so I've been wearing shorts. So I put leather over top of my legs and everywhere else, just so I don't have to worry about being burned up, because that would suck. I got 25 people here. Cool. I'm about to do this pour, so let's see what happens. Oh, I do like to warm these up a little bit too to make sure that doesn't stick. I've seen that happen before. Not to me, because I always do this, but for somebody else, they couldn't get it off. I was like, let me make sure I heat these up. It's the moisture. Whenever you have moisture in something, it likes to stick. All right, let's see what happens. Whoa, see how it sticks sometimes? It never does that with the gas furnace. And there's pieces everywhere. Be burning my pan all up. Let me get some of these big pieces off. So I just started working with electric furnace. This was actually gifted to me by 3D Woodworks. And I got a video in the works right now. I've been working on trying to make that video, and I did a pour for him in trade, but I definitely made out on that trade. He is an amazing guy. All right, let's see what this thing looks like. I don't leave it in there too long. I didn't get that extra piece. We just got some flying going on. I have a smaller one too. You can see there's a small one over here. That's a 3 kilogram that I just used, and I have a 1 kilogram. But every time I've tried to use that, it takes like an hour to melt the silver. Actually, let me Let me do something with all this. Get it out later. Looks like the caking is pretty good. Definitely had, I try to do at least twice as much silver on top of it to make sure it pushes down real good. Just gonna have to use the brush. Kind of scratches it up a little bit. That's why I don't like using it, but I can buff it out too. I think that looks pretty good though. The lighting in here isn't great. And then we quench. Trying to make it so we can actually handle it. Last one I did, I put it in a tumbler and made it shiny. I don't know if that's what I'm going to do on this one or not. And there's one spot on it that's not to my liking. Pouring is not easy, man. Sometimes you got to do a piece a few times before you get a good one. Especially trying to figure out the whole electric furnace thing. Because gas, I know exactly how long to keep it in there and got the timing down. We'll go up. Got here where we can see it a little bit better. See, there's a little spot right there that I'm not really happy with. The rest of it looks pretty good though. See, I believe this is a Gibson Thunderbird. Slash was actually playing one of these last time I saw him live. Guns N' Roses. See, we'll cut that sprue off right here. I might run this one through the tumbler too. What do you guys think? Shiny? See if maybe it'll kind of even this little spot out a little bit. Some people like that kind of stuff though. They like it to be different. Like if it was completely smooth and perfect every time, they would all look the same. But for me, being such a perfectionist, I kind of like it like that, so. See, it's not perfect. But yeah, we got to clean it up for sure. The little lines here, like I'll file all that off. We'll go around the whole thing and make all that smooth. But anyway, just doing a little pouring. I will be having an auction this Friday, so stop by, either 7 or 8. Usually I don't do pours until 8 regardless, even if I do come on early at 7. So yeah, some people will hand saw this sprue off, and then other people will use a saw, like a bandsaw. The problem is you lose all the silver when you cut it, but it just takes so much less time. I kind of like doing it like that. Bill, what's going on? Silver Sleuth, what's up? Coining around, hello. Hope everybody's having a good day. Yeah, its own guitar stand. Silver Sleuth, I actually I have another guitar that I do where I do keep the sprue on it so that it does stand up, because it's kind of on an angle like this one, but it's a Fender something crap, I can't remember. But because it was like on an angle, you couldn't really stand it up. I let the sprue on, which this kind of does the same thing, but it'll still kind of stand up on a stand like this. So the other one is like way more rounded. So what do you think? You guys like it, even with that little stuff going on the side there? It's so weird. Like, I don't know, man. I hate letting stuff go out like that. I mean, it is a pour. People do expect that kind of thing. Usually there's something that's not perfect on a piece. But we'll put it up Friday if anybody's into it. Somebody was asking me about a guitar, so I need to let her know that I have one. But this is where I... Oh. Don't worry about the cords everywhere. You might be able to see it if I have a little light that I put here. And then I'll just take it to the bandsaw and cut it off, and then I'll file down whatever else is extra. I need glasses though. This saw loves to spit stuff back at you, and it will go right in your eye. Man. You got really off there. Ooh, that bitch is getting hot. Get happy to do that. And then what I'll do is I'll take it over to this. So that's a sander. And then I'll sand it down if I'm like in a hurry. If I can do it by hand, I try to, because that can save all the stuff that comes off of it. But pouring is very time consuming. And I've been saving all the little pieces that I have, and I'm going to do a pour with just those pieces. I probably will do this by hand, but you can see how there's a pretty good amount there because it was bent and it's a bandsaw. It doesn't really turn very well. So all that'll have to be either grinded off or done by hand, and then all that will be dust that I'll save. And then I'm going to do a pour called the dust pour or something like that. I don't know what I'm going to name it, but it'll be known that that's what it is. It's all the dust and all the little pieces that I have left over. Like there's some stuff in here, little stuff like that. Just because it, you know, especially when you're filing, if anything gets into it, I want to make sure that I let people know that it is dust. It is things that might not be perfectly clean. But yeah, 3/9 fine silver is all I've ever used. And actually, I had a couple 4/9 fine rounds that I melted down. I still call it 3/9, but like this one, that's what I'm gonna do. I might do some little 1/2 ounce rounds because I can take one of these, right, and then add a little bit of shot. That's what shot looks like. This is small shot too. The shot that I made, look at the difference in what I made, what got ordered. 3D sent this too. So when I make it, it usually ends up a lot bigger. These are so small, I can add a few pieces to the 1/2 ounce and do it in the cup like I just showed you. And do some little 1/2 ounce CC rounds because I haven't done that yet. So I'll just use this with a torch instead of using the furnace. But it came with this right here. This lighting is terrible. That's what the furnace came with. And that arrowhead, I actually did one arrowhead. But I was thinking about that small round one, well, the big round one right here. I was thinking about trying to do some 1/2 ounce rounds in that. So I did one of these arrowheads. That was 1.5 ounces. And I'm going to stamp a CC on it. And what's cool about it is it stands up. So I might do one more of those too. But so far I just have the prototype. And then also I was thinking about it. I feel like this is probably 3 ounces. If anybody in here has one of these, let me know. I feel like I'd be able to get 3 ounces in here pretty good. I was thinking about doing a 3 ounce bar. Maybe like stamping Halloween on it or something. Although I don't have a whole lot of time left for that. I do have witches that I did. I did 2 of those, although it will be the day after Halloween when I actually put them up for auction, but it's something a little different. Just don't slam it like 1,000, yeah. Man, I saw a video the other day, right? And it was like I guess it was a thrash metal band. I really couldn't even tell what they were playing. It was because everybody was on the stage. People were jumping through the drums. The drummer was like kicking people and trying to play drums, and people were running through drums. They started smashing all their guitars. So there really wasn't much music being played for very long. But the whole crowd like joined in to them smashing all their instruments. I could never do that. I love my instruments. I did sell a couple guitars though. I sold a Ibanez 100, which actually I got more than what I paid for it, surprisingly. And then I had a Epiphone Les Paul, because I have a Gibson Les Paul I play now. But yeah, I sold those 2 guitars. I just have too many guitars, man. I have like 13 guitars and I only play like 2 of them. I have a Taylor acoustic and a Gibson Les Paul. And I have an Ibanez RG, which is pretty nice too, because it has the whammy bar and all that. I just can't stand a Floyd Rose. Like the tuning is, I always have to take it somewhere and let them do it. Get new strings and tuned up. So I actually have that guitar a whole 1.5 steps down tuned for playing like, you know, metal and rock music. It's kind of what I like to jam out, power chords and just kind of making it sound heavy. Anyway. But yeah. I did play some guitar earlier. I played drums for a while yesterday. I got a Tama Superstar 7-piece drum set. For those that don't know. A lot of you have seen it. Sorry if I missed anybody. I'm trying to go back here and see if I missed anybody. I don't think so. I got a bunch of people in here though. Feel free to double tap the screen. It's free and I would appreciate it. So these are still pretty hot. But yeah, so that's what you do when you're sand casting. It was a 3D print that this was originally. And I put the sand in half of it, press it down, and then stick that piece on top, put more sand in it, press it down, take it apart, and then I pull the piece out, and then I make a little sprue hole so that I can dump the silver into it. And then I take an X-Acto knife and I cut little lines everywhere so it can breathe, because there's always gases that got to get out. And if you don't get those gases out, the pores just won't look all that great. And I do it on both sides. Here, let me get the light. You see all the lines? No, you really can't. It's almost too bright. You see all the lines? All I do is take an X-Acto knife. I used to actually draw the lines out with like a pick, and then take a toothpick and poke through. So a line would come out and I'll poke a toothpick through it and just try not to make the hole too big, because the silver will eventually go out of it. Some people do it that way, but I started doing it like this because I'll take this and I'll put it in the oven at like 200 degrees for about 20 minutes so that everything's nice and heated up, and you don't really have to vent as much. And it would take me an hour sometimes trying to get the vents right. Whereas with this, with the X-Acto knife, I just draw lines out. It's so much easier and faster. Carol Clark, what's going on? How you doing? What is that? Somebody's got a nice car. Must be my neighbor with his Camaro. What a beautiful car. Sounds sweet too. But anyway, we can go upstairs and I can show you what I have, what we'll have for Friday. Freaking leaves around here are crazy, man. This is where the magic happens. So this is Duff clay. Here's a big old chunk of it. I also have Petrobond in the other one. And you just put one side down, fill it up, press something in there, put the other side on top. It actually goes like this when you're pressing it. But this was the 3D print, and that's what we ended up with. So pretty cool. Then I have this is a number 5 praying hands. All this stuff still needs to be stamped. Some of it even needs to be cleaned up a little bit more still. So definitely busy trying to get everything ready for Friday night. I have this Geiger Alien. This is a number 1. Pretty cool. Then I have an eagle. This is a prototype. This is the first attempt at this. He's got 2 skulls in his talons. This was a necklace I picked up that was pretty cheap. That was the original. And so I cut the top off where the hole would be, where the string, because it was just a string necklace. The eyes fell out, and I tried to press it back in. I tried to put the eye that fell out back in and press it back down. And then when I pulled it out the second time, 3 were gone. And I was like, well, that didn't work. So I popped the other one off, and I think it still looks cool. It's almost like sparkly eyes. So that's an eagle. This was the eagle I did 3D Woodworks. You're not here, are you? If you are, don't look, because he wants to be surprised. This is what I'm sending him. He wanted me to pour this for him for sending me that furnace. Pretty cool. So that's not going to be up for grabs unless I do another one. This was another necklace. That was another necklace. It's like an eagle talon that had an eagle carved into it, kind of thing. So that is another one. That weighs about 2 ounces. Then I did another eagle that was a necklace as well. And it had a little thing here that I had to cut off. So we can make it look like that. A little bit stayed in there though. That was the only thing. This was supposed to be hollow, but it looks kind of cool like that. It doesn't really take away from it, and it just makes it way more too. So I left it. This was that. I'm gonna put a stamp of CC on there, and if you know, I do a backwards C, like like the clock that you... Rhonda Tolliver, the lucky one, made that for me. But that's kind of like the way I do my stuff. So I'll put the CC on here, and what's cool is it stands up too. So that's one of the first pours with the new mold with the new furnace. Then I had another necklace. This was it. And what I did is I taped it so that I could put it down into the sand and put tape on it so I could pop it back out. So this was an open sand pour, which it's really hard to do a good open sand pour because they never actually turn out the way you want them to, but it's still pretty good. This is the Tree of Life. I think this is probably 1.5 ounces. Then I did YouTube. This is not real. This is fake. This is silver. It's a toy. This one turned out really good. Still got a little bit more cleanup to do on the trigger, but that one looks pretty good. Then these haven't been cleaned up at all, so these kind of still look bad, but see, there's like little lines here and there because, like I said, the X-Acto knife, you draw lines. So all of it needs to be cleaned up. But that's an AK-47, and then this is an AR. Or M16. If anybody knows, let me know. Is this an AR or is it a M16? I'm not sure. I mean, my AR kind of looks like that, but this little box down here, it looks a little different. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that. Then, like I was saying earlier, I did a couple witches because it was Halloween and somebody wanted me to do that last time. I think that was Anorta, actually. Silver Spurs, what's going on? And then I did this one too. Both of these are about 1 ounce. And then everybody loved the flying turtle I did. I did this turtle before. And everybody wanted me to leave the sprue on it because it was cool because it was standing up. It was like a flying turtle. So that's what I called it. So here's another one. Should I cut the sprue off and just have it as a regular turtle, or should I keep it as the flying turtle? Number 2. It's got a skull on it too. Trying to stay with the Halloween theme, even though the auction will be the day after Halloween. But that's the new stuff I got so far. And like I said, I was thinking about doing some 1/2 ounce channel rounds. But I have about 6 ounces of shot still, 7. And then of course I have more things I can melt, but I'm at least going to go through the shot that I have. So there'll be a few more things too. If there's anything that you've seen me do before that you'd like to get one of, let me know, and I'll try to see what I can get done by Friday. Also, I have these I was thinking about trying to do too. This is a over and under shotgun, double barrel shotgun, and I don't know what this is. Kind of looks like a 30-30 to me, but it's a little long to be a 30-30. And then this was another keychain. I bought 3 keychains, and that was all 3 of them. So I had to cut off the little spot where it held the chain on. So I cut that off and grinded it down. The only thing about that is, so this was the original. I feel like this is an M16. Silver Sleuth. You say it's an M16, so I'm going to take your word because I have no idea. They look very similar. Now, I have an AR that has this part to it because that's what I always used to think. But that's just the barrel. But see how the sand's stuck in there? So when you look at this, it does have... It's not open there. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to try to take like a small drill bit and drill it out or just leave it the way it is. It just makes it heavier. I think it still looks cool. Mr. Rook, how you doing? I think I said that right. appreciate you guys being here. I got 20 likes. That's awesome. Use trunks from the saw blade. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's the thing about that saw. And if I should have showed you all around it, I could probably sweep up the floor, sweep up that little counter thing I made. That whole thing actually pulls out. I have a welder underneath of it, and then there's a whole nother shelf on the bottom. It's like a 3-tier shelf on wheels that I made. But yeah, that thing's probably covered. The whole top is covered. I might clean off the top, but I'm not going to get down on the floor because I don't want to add a bunch of dirt and wood and anything else that might be down there. But like I said, I'm going to call it that. It's not going to be called anything pure because it's, you know, it's leftovers. It's kind of like what's in here. Same thing. But that's the dust that you get when you file. So there's really only enough to make like one piece anyway. But yeah, and actually, if anybody gets one of those, if anybody picks this up, I might let one of these necklaces go out with it because that's what I copied it from. I had to cut mine. There was 3 of them. I had to cut that one off so I could use it. But you think that'd be cool? Anybody into that? Would you wear something like this, or is it just kind of dumb? I only bought them because I wanted to make copies of this stuff. But there's a few of them. Look, I even bought a belt buckle. I bought a belt buckle because I wanted to make a copy of that too. It's not flat, so I'm going to see if I can stick it in the flask and then just kind of press down until everything is flat. Pull it out, and then use 2 bottoms or 2 tops. I don't know what's the top, what's the bottom, but one has pins on it, and one doesn't. So one's a top, one's a bottom. I feel like this is probably the bottom, but so I'll have to use 2 of these because I can, once I put it in there, I can take another bottom, fill it up with sand. I'll take this thing right here and I'll get it all off and it'll be perfectly flat. And then I can kind of dig through to get the silver in from there. But it's kind of hard to explain. But that's the way I got to do certain pieces. So I did try to do this guitar earlier, and a bunch of the sand stuck in there, all 4 corners, which didn't happen on the original, so that kind of sucked. And then this is the other one I was talking about, that I was leaving the sprue on it, and it would stand up like this. I've made, I think, 3 of those. But yeah, I got a bunch of little turtles. Shoot, I never thought about plugging my phone in. Wow, this battery lasts way longer with the iPhone 16. But this is all the stuff I bought. So I got all this stuff off of Temu because it was cheap as hell, and I wanted to make copies of some of this stuff. So that's why I got a bunch of turtles. So there might be more flying turtles in the future. That's an owl. Problem is, it's got a freaking... it probably wouldn't look right unless I filled that in. But that could be done. There's another belt buckle. I paid like $1 for some of this stuff. But cassette tape. I actually have a 3D print cassette tape that I made, and this one's actually metal, and it always falls out when it's metal and heavy. It's always easier to get out of the sand. There's a little scooter, and that's the V twin. I don't think I can copy this though because it's not straight. That would be very tough. But you don't know until you get some of this stuff in hand. Oh, I do have this one. Obviously, this is just the 3D print, but I have one of these in silver that I made that nobody picked up last time, so that's a leftover. And then I have my channel poker chip. And some of you have sent me your poker chip, and I have one more that's number 9, and then I'm probably going to do a number 10. And it says 3 9's fine, or 3 9 silver on the back. But yeah, I've been giving everybody, if I have your poker chip, I've been giving you $5 off of mine. I was thinking about maybe doing another one of these for the auction, because people like this one. And what I do is, because this chipped off and that chipped off, after I take it out of the sand, I'll carve it to where it looks way better. It looks, you know, like this will actually come out probably to like here. Or, and then the doubloon, I have, remember when Pirate was giving these out to people? I made copies of it. That was the Glock that I did last time that I didn't get kicked off for. When I did this one the first time, I got kicked off. So I think I worded it right last time. Lion. There's quite a few pieces that this was one everybody liked. 18 and over, please. If you're not 18, leave. Just don't look. But this is one. What's cool about this is she's facing this way on this side, and on this side she's facing that way. So it lines up on the edges. 7 stacks got that one. And I left a bit of the sprue on the bottom too, so she'll stand up. And she named it too, Gemini Goddess. And I never even put 2 and 2 together that she came up with Gemini because it's two-sided. I never even put that together, and I'm a Gemini. It took me a week to figure that out. But that was a pretty cool name. I was doing this too. I was making these and using them throughout the auction, you know, sold to gavel. And then I have another round flat, just like a round that I hammer. And then I would use that, sold. And then at the end, I would auction this off. The problem is it's so much work to make these, and people just don't really like to bid up on them, so I kind of lose money on that one a lot. But it's fun to do, and there's a lot of people in the community that have them. I think I'm up to like, I think if I do one more, it'll be 5. Great Scott, what's going on? 7 stacks, there you are. How you doing? Hope everybody is well. Yeah, it's not my usual day for going live. I might have to start going live on Wednesdays, though, with 44 people in here. I shouldn't have said that. Every time I say it, everybody drops off. We had 72 in here earlier or something like that. I was like, dang. I never get that many people. But anyway, that's what's going on. Friday, we'll be having an auction. I've got some cool pieces to put up that I've never brought out the safe before. So there'll be some new stuff. I've got some things I've been putting up to that I'll probably continue to do. I have multiples of things, and you know, just trying to keep the pouring thing going. But like I said earlier, this might be kind of the last time to get pours for a while, because I'm probably not going to have quite as much time to pour. So I might do one more before that happens. And then it might start being, instead of like every 2 or 3 weeks, it's probably going to be every 2 or 3 months. So definitely show up Friday if you're interested in anything. I feel like I hear those deer out there. Probably just a squirrel. Ooh, sorry, buddy. I kicked you right in the head. How'd you get up like that? Yep, just a squirrel. Come on. I've been feeding the deer, and here, you want some food? Hold on. Let me feed this dog. There you go, bud. I had these the deer that are coming in. It's a mama and a couple babies, and they'll stand like 10 yards away from me. Last night they came in. It was dark, and I could barely see her because I had a light shining up in the woods. And I get about 5 yards away, and she was like, "Nah." because she was at the corn, like just on the other side of it, and she backed off a little bit, but they came back. It's funny, like they'll eat the corn, walk off like 10 yards, wait for me to put more corn out, and then they'll walk right back. But they keep coming at night. The past week, they only come at night, which is kind of hard to get good video on that. But yeah, I need to break out. I have a Canon 80D that I've taken a lot of videos with of wildlife. I need to start posting that stuff. Shoot, I need to start posting all the videos. I got tons of videos in my phone that I still need to post. But I did get, guys, if you want to see some pours that I've done recently, go check out my shorts. I have a bunch of short videos that I put out of the things that I've, probably the past 2 auctions, I think. And then I have pictures on Instagram, but I'm way behind on those. I'm going to try to work on that tonight and tomorrow, try to get some more pictures up, because I'm way behind on that stuff. I've sold probably over 300 ounces of pours, and there might be 60 or 70 ounces up on Instagram. But I'm also on TikTok. I'm also on Clapper. Tonight, when I get done with this, I'm actually going to go on Clapper and post all the videos I put onto TikTok today. And YouTube, I'm going to post those over there too. I'm trying to pull some of those people over because I only sell on YouTube. I don't go to any other platforms. I only do it here. So I'm trying to pull some of those people over, but it's tough. And people over there like to just be over there. Is anybody doing anything this weekend for Halloween? I know a lot of people did stuff last weekend. But yeah, I figured I'd be a little festive with the Halloween and do a little witch. This was something I found at the dollar store, actually. Like little army men. It's like little army men, but witches. These were the 2 easiest to do that didn't have 2 separate feet at the bottom. And they were all small feet, or small legs, so I didn't try it yet. I might try one at some point, but I could also do this one if I'm going to stick with some pew-pews. It's an MP5, I think. MP5? I had this was hollow on the handle, so I glued it. That way, it's full of silver. But yeah, this was another one. I've only done a prototype of this, so that would be a number 1 if I do it. I thought about doing the runes again, too. It seems like it's a pretty popular one. If I do this, it'll be a number 2, and it's a 3-piece. And then I can do the poker chip. I can do the 2.5 ounce poker chip too. It's hard to see. It does not pick up on this. But there is a CC there. There you go. And then it says 3.9 silver on the back. So this one's about 2.5 ounces. I've done a prototype and a number 1, so this will be a number 2 if I do it. Runes are cool. Hey, if you say you're going to show up Friday and you'll bid on it, I'll make them. Getting ready to get your ski season going? I used to have a snowboard, but I sold it. Last time I went snowboarding, listen to this story. So I went snowboarding. I'd only been probably 3 or 4 times. The first time I went, I fell all the way down the hill. I went to the top of the biggest hill. And I was with like 10 dudes. They all knew how to snowboard. I didn't. So they proceed to go down. I proceed to fall. So I get about 10 feet fall, 10 feet fall, 8 feet fall, 5 feet fall. You know, I literally fell the whole way down the first time. But by the end of that day, I went all the way down without falling once. So I did pick up on it. So the second time I went, I was pretty decent, you know. The third time I went, I took somebody with me, so I drove up there. We were meeting some other people. The first run, I'm coming down, And I'm thinking, I'm pretty good. I've been doing it. It's my third time. I know what I'm doing, man. I can stop on a dime. I can go fast and, weave in and out and do whatever. I know what I'm doing, right? I even hit some jumps the previous time, the second time I went. Nothing big, but, going up on these berms and coming back down and. But anyway, so I'm up at the top of this hill. We get about halfway down and this woman, I can see, like, I passed a little kid. And this woman kind of stops right in front of me, but I have time, right? So I'm like, I start to go to the left so that I don't hit her. She starts to go to the left. I'm like, what are you doing, woman? So then I start to go to the right. She goes to every time I went a certain way, she was going the same way. And I almost plowed into her, but I didn't because I basically threw myself away from her and landed on my collarbone. So I landed on my face and collarbone. So I still got a bump on my collarbone. So I cracked my collarbone, right? But I didn't want to be a little wuss. So I decided I was going to continue and went back up the mountain and just tried like hell not to fall. And I did fall again, cracked my tailbone and my rib all in the same day. And just kind of tried to fight through the pain, but eventually I had to leave. And I couldn't, I was dying. I couldn't sit down. I didn't sleep for like a month. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't lay down. Nothing I did. So I ended up selling that board because I was like, man, I'm still broke from that. And that was probably 10 years ago. So this year I actually sold my snowboard. But the dude didn't want the boots. And I got big feet, right? So I wear I think the boots are size 13. And so he didn't want the boots, but gave me the same price for the board. So now I have these boots that I need to get rid of. Then I have a book bag that you can put your snowboard, you can strap your snowboard into it. I've never even used it. And then I have this nice snowboard and jacket. And I'm like, man, I should probably just sell all this stuff. But yeah, that was tough, man. It took me months to heal from that. The rib actually healed the fastest, but it hurt the worst. The collarbone hurt for about 3 years, off and on, every now and again, especially when it was cold. And my tailbone, and I had a motorcycle too. So I couldn't ride my bike for longer than about a half an hour. I had to stop and pull over because the seat, on the back of the seat, it kind of like rose up like that. And, right on your tailbone. So I had to get off of it and walk around, smoke a cigarette or do something, every half an hour, 45 minutes. It was a tough, that was a tough day that lasted for a while. Yeah, no, I don't need the lessons. I do know how to do it. This woman really messed me up. And I was just like, man, it's not worth it. I'm 45 years old now, and it's just not worth falling. You know what I mean? And I was like, what I did that first time I went is I would go down and I would go about as fast as I wanted to go before I was like, all right, because I have a story too. I used to skateboard a lot when I was a kid, and we went to my aunt's houses one time, and I was skateboarding down the big hill, and I started going so fast that the board started going like, you know what I mean? And I was too scared to try and slow down. I just jumped off like a dumbass. I was young, and just slid on both knees and my elbow all the way down. That was tough too. I couldn't walk for about a week after that. My knees were so, it was like, it was road rash on my knees and my arm. And then when it would scab up, trying to like walk or do anything, like even just going to the bathroom was crazy. But anyway, there was a point to that. The point was, I was, that first time, I went and I would go so fast to where I'm like, all right, I don't want to go any faster than this. And then I would stop. So I would just turn sideways, stop on a dime, and then start to go again. So I was good at stopping, but that woman, I was just trying to miss. I wasn't necessarily trying to stop, and she kept going the same way I went. So it was just unfortunate, but yeah, I just don't want to chance it anymore. Everything takes a lot longer to heal now. You still hurt from wipeouts 40 years ago? Dang. They say that your body fully heals in 7 years. I don't know if that's true, but like all your blood cells and everything, like even your bones will be like totally healed. Like you have a whole new body every 7 years. I guess that's if you don't do things to hurt it, but I still feel things from over 7 years ago, that's for sure. Maybe it's more of the inside stuff. I don't know. So you said you ski or you snowboard? I think skiing I would consider to do maybe because you could jump out the skis. Something about being tied into the snowboard just freaks me out. See, what happened was I had clipped the front of the board because I was trying to get out of the way of her last minute. I was trying to push out of the way. So I like leaned forward so I could push, and I guess I was like trying to jump. I don't even know what the hell I did, but the front of the board clipped, and that's why I went face first, collarbone first into basically ice. The first time I went, it was a lot of powder. Second time, it was kind of icy. And you'd be going, all of a sudden you hit a patch of ice and go 10 times faster, and then you would hit some powder again and slow down and hit some ice again. But yeah, I happened to hit the ice that time. But yeah, I feel like falling no matter what. If it's powder, it's not as bad. If you got like a bunch of thick powder, now that might be fun to do. Like skiing through or even snowboarding through like 3 foot of powder, that would be cool. I don't really walk now. I know, man. I wanted to start jogging again. I'd like to get to a point where I'm running, but my damn ankle hurts all the time. It's either my hip or my ankle or knee, or it's always something. I'm pretty sure I have gout. So that's why I mean I try not to. I don't even drink anymore because it seems like every time I drink, something hurts. I don't know if anybody knows what gout is, but that's when the fluid in your joints crystallizes, and all those little crystals grind together. So every time you move any joint, it's like just terrible pain. You like to ski steep and fast, yeah. I didn't like going too fast because I knew that it was going to hurt a lot more when I fell. So I tried not to go too fast. But I did get pretty good. I mean, I remember the one time I went, it had been snowing pretty much the whole day we were there. So that's how I learned on nice powder. And it snowed the whole day. So it was always powder, at least a little bit. And then when I went back and it was ice, that was a whole different world. Uric acid, yeah, I've heard that. Wife hates it, yeah. There is no way I could get her to go snowboarding or skiing. It ain't gonna happen. She don't even like to be in the cold, so. I can't even get her to go camping, man. She's probably listening like, stop talking about me. Sometimes she'll listen at work. She makes you wear a beacon. I guess some places you go, you might need one. The weight on the AK, it's probably around a half an ounce. I don't know. I haven't weighed it yet. I can go get the scale. Can't believe TikTok shut me down for showing this. Actually, it was the Glock, I guess, but I fought it. Of course, it's probably going to take a couple days, but let's make a guess. What do you guys think it is? Now, it does still need to be cleaned up a little bit. Like the back here, all I did is sawed it off. It's still going to need to be cleaned up. So all that on the back there, we're going to lose a little bit. But I'm going to say it's probably .57. I'm going to say 0.57. You may do grams? You do grams. Oops. I guess that's probably how I'll write it up anyway. I don't know. I'm kind of with you. I think 18 might work. Yeah, we were off. I almost went lower too. 12.2. This one will probably be less. 11.9. I don't know what this weighs. This might not be perfectly flat either. 213. 2.09. 2.22. 3.45. That's 1.5. 1.52. 1.82. This is probably 1.7. 1.83. That's heavier than they normally are. 0.67. And grams is 20.9. 0.96, so almost an ounce. 0.79. If I leave this, I do need to flatten that, so I'm probably going to lose a little bit off of this one. 2.76 now. It'll probably be more like 2.7. And the guitar still has some cleanup too. It's 1.82. So that's everything. If anybody's interested, Friday, it'll all be up for grabs. I don't know if I'm going to tone this. I should probably tone them, antique them. They have goofy looking faces anyway. Even the regular ones are just kind of goofy looking faces. It's really not the prettiest thing to begin with. I think they turned out pretty good. But I think these definitely should be antiqued. That eagle will probably look good antique too. This one. This I'm going to leave. And the guns I'll probably leave. This one always looks like that, so that'll be like that too. Spooky faces, yeah. For sure. There were some other ones too, but and there was one that was holding like a crystal ball. But like I said, she had like skinny legs, and I didn't know if the silver was going to get down in there and then still fill everything out fast enough. If I use the gas furnace, it kind of gets everything a little bit hotter. So I've been able to do some pretty tight areas before. But yeah, I've been doing the gas furnace at 1150, which is as hot as it can go. And I do want to do some copper pieces at some point. I was kind of hoping to have some copper done by this auction, but that's probably not going to happen. I need to get another crucible anyway, because I can use, as long as I get done what I'm doing, and then I can always just use the gas furnace for silver anyway. I just can't use copper in it because I have a hole in the top, and every time I try to burn copper, that hole gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So I need to order some more of that stuff. What's that stuff called? What's the stuff that you paste onto the Devil Forge? It comes with it. I need to figure out what that stuff's called. I need to order some more of that because I got a bunch of cracks in it now. Thing's 3 years old. Actually, it's probably 3.5 years old. And like I said, I've run probably 300 ounces to that thing. Hello, Wayne. 8 o'clock, unless I come on early at 7, but I'm not going to put any pours up until 8. And I'm not going to go for a long time either, so I'd like to be done by 12 at the latest. So I might come on at 7 and go till 12, or 8 and go till 12. Trying to be around 4 hours. I can't do these 8-hour auctions anymore. But like I said, man, a lot of stuff popped up. I had to get this new phone. That was unexpected. And, rent's due on the 1st, so got to take care of business, you know what I mean? Time zone, I'm Eastern Standard Time. Refractory cement. Let me take a picture of that so I don't forget. Although I shouldn't, but my memory sucks. I'm getting old. Yeah, the only thing, that's why I kind of try to go at 7 a lot of times. Or that's why I try to go to 8 sometimes. Because, on the East Coast, sometimes these people don't even come in until 10, 11, 12 o'clock. Try to do it late enough to where people get off work and everything. I don't have anything to do Saturday, although I could go hunting. I would like to do that soon. Starting to get, man, it was 80 degrees today. It's starting to get cold, and then all of a sudden we get a heat wave again. It's going to be even hotter tomorrow. I think it was like 78 today. It's supposed to be like 80 tomorrow. It felt like 80 today for sure. But yeah, I might even put up some different type of stuff too, man. I have some things that aren't coins, that it's not pours or coins. Like some of those necklaces, I might give a couple away. I don't know. Put something up for $1, see if anything sells. A lot of this stuff, like I can't pour it, so there's no point in even cutting the string off of it. So I might just see if anybody's interested. I've got these really cool pencil sharpeners I got that I was going to try to make copies of, but I'd have to like cut them up in order to even do that. But one is of the Capital. It's a Capital pencil sharpener. And then there's one of the Twin Towers of New York with the other buildings in front. And that's pretty cool too. And then I have a couple knives. I was thinking about maybe putting up. I have put knives up before. I didn't get kicked off for that, so. Nothing Damascus steel or anything like I had those times, but. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff I'm trying to sell. I got a couple guitars in my truck right now. I got a CD mixer or DJ, like a CD player for DJs. I got a djembe drum, like a hand drum. Guitar Center didn't want that, which I was surprised. And that thing is like brand new. I've only played it a few times. I've had that thing for years and only played it a few times. And I'm like, why am I holding on to this thing? I never play it. It's like a $350 drum. I'm trying to downsize. I just got too much crap. So I've been putting stuff on OfferUp. I got a bunch of drill bits and things like that that are brand new, never been used. Like auger bits and paddle bits and bits for like SDS, like concrete bits. Brand new, it's still in the packages, never been used. I put all that stuff on OfferUp, but nobody's really been interested in it, so I don't know what to do with that stuff. It's things that they would, and like screws, all kinds of stuff, man. Like my job where I used to work, they would always be trying to throw stuff in a dumpster. And I'm like, I told the guys in the warehouse, let me know before you throw anything in that dumpster. So I started to fill my shed up with these things that they wanted to throw away because it was cheaper to throw it away than to pay the taxes on not selling it. Isn't that crazy? A lot of places do that. That's why people dumpster dive all the time. Because to have stuff that didn't sell in that year, you got to pay taxes on it, apparently. I don't know all the ins and outs and how it works. I didn't do that part of the job, but I was in sales. So that was somebody else's job. But every now and again, they'd be throwing stuff in the dumpster. I mean, full pallets sometimes of nails. I remember one time we had a real bad snowstorm, and I put like 300 or 400 pounds of nails in the back of my truck because I had two-wheel drive at the time, and it was front-wheel drive. And I didn't want the ass end to spin out, so I put a bunch of nails in the back of it. Anyway, I'm really rambling. Rut time soon. Yes, I was hoping, man. It feels like, the rut was going really strong the first day of shotgun season last year, which is the day after Thanksgiving. Not the day after Thanksgiving, that's a Friday. The Saturday after Thanksgiving. So obviously it's still going that day. I could bow hunt Friday, which I might do. But yeah, I shot a buck that was rutting last year. And I had these, by the way, if anybody uses light fields, be careful because I got some bad light fields. I know that sounds funny to say, oh, he missed. It must have been the bullets, but I'm a really good shot and I don't miss, especially that close. I totally missed the deer. And when I was sighting it in, I got a new barrel for my Remington 870 that has a scope on it because I had it as a bird gun when I was a kid. So I bought a new barrel for it, bought light field bullets for it, and sabots. And when I was sighting it in, it kept shooting like a foot and a half off. Like I had it sighted in, but then every now and again it would shoot one like way off. So I had a bad box, I think. And there was like two left out of that box, and somehow it got mixed in with my other ones. So I'm hunting last year. This dude walks up, he's rutting. He doesn't even come to the corn because we can bait in Maryland. He's walking up the trail and then kind of cuts off like he's about to go down in the gully. And I put a shot on him. He acted like I didn't even hit him. And I was like, what the hell just happened? He turns around and starts walking where he came from. Not running, just walking. And I'm like, there's no way I totally missed that deer at 30 yards. There's no way. So once he gets like over this hill, I get down out the stand. The only thing I have is my gun. I left everything else in the stand. And so I proceed to walk after where he just walked. And come to find out, he had 3 different trees that he was scraping on underneath. So he had 3 scrapes, and I guess he was going back to check the scrapes. I don't know. But he was facing away from me, and I got to this tree, and I rested my hand on the tree so that I could put the gun there. Because usually I'm shooting from a stand. I have a thing in front of me that I can rest the gun on. That's why I know I always have a good shot, right? Because I'm not free, up in the air just holding up, being shaky or anything. Like I know I had a good shot on him. So I lean up against this tree and I'm holding it, and I start trying to get him to like turn around. He turns around and starts walking straight at me. And I'm like, man, I really don't want to shoot him in the chest, but I got to do what I got to do. So he gets about 50 yards. I'm like, at some point he's going to see me. So I shot him at 50 yards, and he went about 10 yards and fell over. And that was a chest shot. So I know that some of those bullets are on and some of them are off. I don't know. I'm hoping that I don't come across another one of those. But yeah, that was last year's opening day of gun season, and he was definitely rutting. He stunk too, man, because they piss on the back of their back knees. They'll like put them together and just straight pee on them. It's always a stinky deer during the rut. But yeah, he would have been a nice 8-pointer, but he broke off one of the sides, not the whole thing, but, and it had to probably been in spring because it looked like it happened a while ago. So he had 4 on one side and 2 on the other, I think. Or maybe it was a 7. I don't know. I don't remember. I did a European mount with him, but it's been downstairs. I haven't looked at it in a while. I think it was a 7. Yeah, I love the 870, man. 80 there to yesterday and snow tomorrow. Yeah, sounds like Maryland. That's happened here. It was like 35 yesterday morning, I think. Yeah, I have a muzzleloader too, man. I didn't even realize it was muzzleloader season. There's a 3-day last weekend, and I didn't even realize. Usually I go, but I did read in the book. See, I hunt in PG County, which has the population is pretty big because it's pretty close to DC. But I hunt on the southern tip of that, and you know, it's like nothing but woods around there. But because the population is so high, you have to use a shotgun. Other places, like if I go over to Dorchester County on the Eastern Shore, I can use a rifle. But the Remington, man, it's always done me well. I love that gun. I've shot deer 100 yards with that thing, no problem. But yeah, I didn't even realize last weekend that was happening. But yeah, I bow hunt too. I've killed deer with bow, but I ended up buying a crossbow. I have a what is it? Not a 10 point, something point. It's a really cheap, well, inexpensive. It's inexpensive. It's like it was like $260, man. And I have killed so many deer with this thing. It is so accurate. Of course, I don't take bad shots either, and I don't shoot more than like 30 yards with it, even though I could shoot 60. I just don't do that. But man, with that bow, I've sliced 6 hearts with it. So I put it right on. Certain revolvers. Yeah, I think. Oh, actually, you can use a rifle here. I forgot what it's called. You know how a bullet, it's got the bullet part, and then it gets bigger at the end? If you have a bullet that's the same size all the way through, I forgot what that's called. You can use that. But that's the only type of rifle you can use. You have a scope on your muzzleloader? Yeah, I have a scope on mine too. I bought the Wolf. And that thing's been pretty accurate too. I think I've only killed 1 deer with it, but it was when I was sighting it in, it was pretty accurate. It's got I tell you what though, the trigger on that thing is like a hair. I mean, as soon as you touch the trigger, it's going off. It's that bad. So you really got to be careful. Make sure that you're ready to shoot when you go for it. But here, why don't we, since we're talking about the deers, let's go look at the wood and see if there's any deers coming. It's about that time. They might be coming in. I'm probably gonna. I got some corn out there now. I'm just scared to squirrel off. Every time I bring my dog out, he runs through the woods trying to chase a damn squirrel. And it's funny because they go up the tree and he keeps running. I don't think he realizes that they go up the tree. He hasn't figured it out yet. He just runs past and is, oh, no more squirrel. Like, what is he thinking? Like, they just kind of vanish into thin air? Anyway. Yeah, I plan on, I'll muzzleloader when we have a 2-week. Last weekend was just a 3-day. But yeah, I'll definitely go for the 2-week. But man, it's so hot right now. I don't think the rut's going to start anytime soon. It's probably going to be another couple weeks. So right around shotgun season, they'll be in it. So I do like when it doesn't get, we don't get the first frost for a while. I don't think we've had a first frost yet, to be honest. But usually like midway here in Maryland, usually about midway through, I know it's, Ohio is probably a little bit colder earlier, but midway through, anywhere from like now till midway through November. And then it usually goes for a week or two, because they don't always go at the same time, but I think they go into heat for a week, and that usually lasts 2 to 3 weeks. But then there's different ruts too. Like there's some of the younger ones will rut different times. I've heard that. In Maryland, we also have a sick deer. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but it's only on the eastern shore. It's basically, is it in the caribou family? I think caribou is the one that bugle, and you can hear these things bugling. It's so funny, but they'll do it all night long. But they pretty much live in the marsh. It's a black deer, and their horns, instead of going out, they go like straight up, and they only get about a 6 point. I've never seen anything bigger than a 6 point. But man, they're small deer. I mean, I shot a doe that looked like a mini horse. She weighed 120 pounds after I gutted her, and that's the biggest deer that anybody's ever seen. I should have called somebody about that. It might have been a record. That's the first time I had hunted in a long time. I hunted when I was younger, till about 18, and then it was all about partying, hanging out, and being with friends, and chasing girls, and when I turned 18, I wasn't really interested in hunting anymore. But then when I had a daughter, I was like, I need to know that I can go do this again. So when I was 32, I decided I was going to start hunting again, give it a try. That way I knew if I had to go find food, I knew how to do it. Not that I didn't know how, but that deer, that sicky deer, I shot it, I quartered it, I cut it all up, I cooked it, I did everything with that deer. I even saved the hide. But yeah, I had to drag her out of the marsh, which really sucked. But that's what they do. They go and they hang out in the marsh all day, and then they'll come out at night. And they don't like to be around where like the whitetails are, because there's whitetail there too, but they don't ever hang out together really. I went over there last year and killed a couple geese. That was fun. That's the first time I had hunted geese since I was probably 18. Only wild boar. Man, I love wild boar. Let me tell you, I never shot one, but I used to work with some guys that would go every year. And I think they would go to Texas. But dude asked me one time, he was like, if you pay for it, or pay for half of it, I'll bring half of it back to you. And I was like, sure. So he gave me all these steaks, and I'm telling you, that was so good. It was like a chicken steak kind of mix. It was like if I had to explain it, it's like chicken and steak as one. I don't know how else to explain it. It's been a long time, so I don't know, maybe my taste buds are different now in my old age, but man, that was some good eating. Rimfire, yep, that's it. Ever waterfowl? Yeah. I wish we could have went duck hunting. There's wood ducks around there too, man. Wood ducks are a beautiful deer, or a beautiful bird. I haven't shot one of those since I was probably 17. On the farm, there's like 4 different ponds, and then there's a river too. So you can hear them in the ponds. And I would army crawl up with my gun. I would army crawl up and then just jump up like, and then they would fly off and I would shoot. I did that quite a few times. Otherwise, we're in a blind, either on the water, or there's 2 blinds that are in the middle of these fields, and we'll just put field decoys out, and you get down into this big, it was something my grandfather made. I'm trying to think of what it is. It's basically just like a big oval, and it's enough room for 2 people and a dog. And then you have these doors that you slide over top of you. Once you get down in it, you slide the doors over, so you just have it cracked open so you can see out, and then you throw the doors open, pop out, and start blasting. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, lots of cycles. I hear that there's like 3 different cycles in whitetail. And then sick deer are probably doing it now. They go a little bit earlier than whitetails. I do know that much. Yes, they're from. I thought they were Japanese. I thought they were from Japan. I could be wrong, but the old story is, and maybe it was Greenland. Maybe I just got the place wrong. But there was some rich dude that lived in Maryland, and I think it might have been closer. It might have been even like New York or something. Who knows? They were just coming up the bay. So they were coming up the bay, and the boat sank. And he had all these like different types of animals because his wife was like really into exotic animals. So he was bringing them to his wife to put on his farm or whatever, and the boat sank. And the deer swam over to the eastern shore, and then of course over the course of so many years, they started having more and more of them. Now there's tons of them. I think it was like in the 30s or 40s, maybe, or maybe I don't know. I really don't know the date. Could have been 1800s for all I know. I think it was. I think it was maybe 1800s, late 1800s. I don't know. I don't know the dates. I just know a boat sunk and they swam to the eastern shore, and that's why they're there. Yeah, I did too, man. I lived in the woods too from, I mean, all of the season. But, you know, when you're in the woods all the time like that, your scent gets in the woods. You know what I did last year? I didn't hunt until I went to the first day of gun season. That's the first time I had ever even been to my stand that year. And I had that buck come through. And he was scraping probably about 50 yards from me, just over a hill. I couldn't see him or anything. Maybe 60 yards. But my scent just was not in the woods. Now, when I would be there every single weekend, sometimes throughout the week too, I wouldn't see as many deer. I would see does, but and I'm not saying I won't take a doe, because I usually do take 1 or 2 does a year too. I try to have either 1 to 3 in the freezer every year, and I try to have that be a buck and 2 does, or a doe and 2 bucks, or that's all you can do. You can see in Maryland they changed the law. It used to be 1 per weapon, so you could do bow, muzzleloader, and shotgun. So you could get 3 bucks. Now they changed it to where you can only shoot 1 buck, and that's with all the weapons. But if you go after you shoot that buck, you can go get a buck tag for 10 bucks, and then you can shoot 1 more. But you have to shoot 1 first before you can get the buck tag, which makes sense. But so I usually only take 1 buck a year, personally. But that's just how the chips fall, you know. Not that I wouldn't do more. The year before, I shot a huge 6-pointer. That thing, it didn't have any brow tines. And one side was even kind of messed up, but he had about a 2-foot spread. I think it was 24-inch spread. Huge antlers, but just was only a 6-pointer. But he was old. He was probably 8 years old, 9 years old. It was an old deer. Yeah, shoot, down south they hunt them with freaking helicopters. They're so bad around there. They'll just chase them down with a helicopter and start shooting them out the helicopter. Like, man, that's not. I mean, I might try it just to say I did it once to see what it's like, but I kind of like being in the woods. I don't know if I want to be in a helicopter shooting stuff. It kind of seems more like war than hunting. You know what I mean? Yeah, wood duck's really good, man. I wish I could get one of those. I couldn't talk my cousin into doing it, because then we would have had to take all the decoys out to the water, and he didn't want to deal with the boat and putting the decoys in, and because there's a blind on the river too, but they just don't come into the fields much. They're always on the river or the ponds. We could have set up at a pond, but I don't know. He's the one that goes. His dad is the one that pretty much stays there. Since my grandfather died, my uncle took it over. So I get an invite every now and again. But yeah, what I did with the goose last year. So here's an amazing recipe if you ever get goose. Take a breast, and by the way, I tried the legs. They told me not to. They said it's going to be so tough, don't do it. But I had to try it. I was going to put them in a slow cooker, and my slow cooker broke. So I put them in the air fryer, and it was so tough. Nah, don't do that. If you don't got a slow cooker, just toss them, because that's what they were doing. And I was like, man, I don't want to waste it, you know? So I tried. But anyway, the breast, cut it into like 8 pieces, get a jalapeno and chop that up into rounds, like a round jalapeno, so you can put cheese in the center of it, pepper jack cheese, and then a mushroom cap on top. So I'll fill the mushroom cap up with pepper jack cheese. So I have I'll lay out a strip of bacon, and in the middle of that, I'll put a piece of the goose. Then I'll put a jalapeno filled with cheese, and on top of that, I'll put a mushroom cap full of cheese, pepper jack. And then I'll wrap the whole thing up and then put it in the air fryer. It's the best thing I've ever had. I don't know any other way that you could eat goose. Some people don't like goose, but man, I tell you, that was pretty good. I wish I had still had some. Hopefully in January, I'll get a chance to go again. Fox urine. Where do you buy fox urine at? I got a fox around here, man. I might have to catch him and give him to piss on my stuff. He came out the other day. It was like, and I shined a flashlight on him. He just stops and looks at me like, hey, what's up, man? And we just stood and stared at each other for probably 10, 15 seconds. And then he took off again. I put this corn out so you can see there's a squirrel eating it now. I got raccoons that come in. I got this fox that'll come in. I didn't think fox would eat that. So I don't know if he's coming in looking for the rabbit, because a rabbit will go out here too. So I think he's looking for the smaller animals, but he's always walking through here, jogging through. He doesn't really walk. That's why I was surprised that he stopped. Because usually when I see a fox, they're on the move. I've never seen one stop. $1 per year, okay. Hard to sleep in a helicopter. Yeah, I'm sure. Why is your screen black? Is anybody else's screen black? Dimeback Coins, what's going on? Sure, but will it hold a tune? What were we talking about? I did just pour a silver guitar. I forgot what we were talking about. Yeah, I've never seen that. You know, this is going to be gross for any ladies that are here, but I heard that the old timers used to take their wives' tampons out in the woods with them. Like, what? I guess, you know, and by the way, if you wanted to start a scrape, all you got to do is go out and a scrape is where a buck will, it's usually under a tree. And actually, I'll show you a tree because I'm thinking about doing a scrape right here. Oh, is it not working? Black screen here. Shit, what's going on? I'm gonna have to stop this, guys. Can you hear me though? My screen isn't even looking anywhere. It's jammed up. What the hell? Trying to get back to the house to see what's happening. If you can hear me, I'm back up at the house. I don't know what's happening. My screen just jammed up. Don't tell me I got a new phone that's going to act a fool. I don't know what to do here. That's weird. Like I'm still looking at where I was just standing, and I'm up on the deck now. So the screen is locked up, but it's not black. That's weird. I've never had that happen. That better not happen during an auction. Man, I spent all this money on this new phone, and it's going to be doing me dirty. What do you know? Well, I guess this would be a good time to end it, huh? Can't really show you anything, so I guess we will end this. I'll probably be live tomorrow, because I always go live on Thursdays. So at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, we'll go live, and hopefully this won't happen again. But anyway, hopefully I'll see you guys Friday if I don't see you tomorrow. Got a bunch of pours, got some new stuff I'm gonna put up, so definitely stop by Friday. And you don't have to pick up anything. You can I'll still do some giveaways, and you don't have to buy anything for that. So, you know, stop by. Again, sorry about the screen. I don't know what the hell just happened, but it happens, I guess. Damn hippies are stealing the interwebs. I hear you, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm still looking outside. We were looking in the woods, and now I'm back upstairs looking at my pores, and I'm still on the screen looking at the woods. I don't know what the hell's going on. But anyway, 3D, what's going on? Sorry, there's a black screen for some reason. I don't know. My phone like locked up. I don't know what's happening. It's weird that you can hear me. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you guys Friday. If not, tomorrow I'll be live at 2:30 doing some kind of pouring. I'll probably be cleaning up stuff and stamping. I think I might just go live and stamp. But we'll see. Try to get a couple more things done tonight. I'm going to do a couple things in the morning. But whatever I get done tomorrow is it. I'm not going to be pouring on Friday, trying last minute to have things ready like I've been doing. Try to get all the other stuff together. But I'll make a video letting you guys know. I did show, you can go back in this, if you want to watch this live, you can go back and see some of the things that I poured. But I'll definitely make a video at some point. But anyway, guys, that's it. I'm going to get out of here. So like I always say, I appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.